Hi friends, welcome to Real Estate with Winifred Opare. Today let's discuss how the NAR settlement impacts every player in the real estate game. From the buyer, first-time home buyer, listing agent, to the buyer's agent and the seller. Stay tuned. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and then we can review what certain prominent people are saying about this whole lawsuit. So this information, I want to make sure I have the right person. This is by David Dworkin, and this is NHC.org National Housing Conference. Okay, I'm just going to pick two paragraphs and I'll just go through with it. It says what appears to be clear is that most of the positive outcomes will be awarded to worthy, financially sophisticated consumers who are multi-generational homeowners. Lawyers involved in the case and the National Association of Realtors, despite their having to pay $400 million in damages. The biggest losers, however, will be the low and moderate income first-time and especially first-generation homebuyers already confused by an often Byzantine process tied directly to their financial future. And Byzantine is a word that I just came across during this whole lawsuit situation. And we're gonna go find out what Byzantine means, okay? This is a big word. Ironically, this lawsuit brought by a small group of Missouri home sellers against the National Association of Realtors and several other real estate brokerages is strongly supported by the Consumer Federation of America and the Biden administration Justice Department. How much the settlement will change the current system, which for home sellers and buyers is arguably one of the most expensive in the world, is anyone's guess. According to Gary Acosta, co-founder and CEO of the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, forcing buyers to pay out of pocket for an agent to represent them through the process would only exacerbate affordability challenges and put home ownership out of reach for millions of would-be buyers. A ban on broker corporation would benefit no one but the wealthiest amongst us. How much the settlement will confuse and discourage first-time home buyers, especially people of color who are disproportionately first-time home buyers, is much easier to understand and predict. So I'm going to stop sharing now. This information is from the nhc.org, and you can always go there and check it out. But it's unfortunate because a lot of people saw this and they said, oh, realtors cannot be paid commission again and whatnot. This is not what it is. Realtors will still get paid. However, now, instead of the seller, paying for commission when they're selling their home and then the listing agent splitting with the buyer's agent, now the buyer has to pay their agent. Okay, so typically when a listing agent lists a home, they negotiate a commission percentage, and it is understood, and this is what's understood across board, that they split the commission with the cooperating broker. And so the cooperating broker is the buyer's agent. This has a lot of perks. Okay, one, it helps the seller's property get discovered by thousands of agents. It also helps the buyer, because this is mostly first-time home buyers that I think will be affected, just like the gentleman said. First-time home buyers get to save because most people struggle to come up with their closing costs anyways, and then now they have to add realtor fees to that, and that is very I don't know how to put it. That's going to take a toll on people, because I've seen how challenging it is for, people will come up with lump sums of money to purchase a home. Anyway, and so I feel like buyers are gonna think, well, then I just have to go directly to the listing agent. However, where it also is going to affect some buyers is that the listing agent owes fiduciary duties to the seller, not to the buyer. So the listing agent is going to treat you as a customer. This means, what does this mean? This means they are not obligated to explain whatever is in the contract to you. They are not obligated to disclose anything to you. They just tell you the price. They are not obligated to tell you, oh, you got to do your comps because this house is overpriced. Like, I'm the listing agent. I'm supposed to protect the seller's interest. I'm not going to tell you, the buyer, that don't buy the house because it's overpriced or negotiate a lower, like, that will be actually breaching the contract. So one way or the other, it's always advisable that buyers have an agent in their corner, right? That way they know that they're going into the process and there's somebody that is experienced looking over the whole process for them and informing them, because the buyer's agent owes the buyer the fiduciary duty. What's going to change now? What's going to change now is that buyers are going to have to figure out a way to come up with realtor fees if they want the buyer's agents to represent them. And, the reason why this gentleman is saying the wealthiest, it's not going to affect the wealthy people who actually had the money to bring up this lawsuit is because they already bought homes. They own multiple homes. They don't need no buyer's agent anymore. And so they don't care. So, but first-time home buyers actually go into this not knowing anything. They actually have the need for a buyer's agent. And I do work with a lot of first-time home buyers. So I do know how this is gonna go. I already know how this is gonna go. I mean, I'm gonna do my very best to see how best I can help, but it's gonna affect a lot of people because a lot of agents are not going to just give information out or work for free. They got to get paid. And so, as a buyer out there, here's what you can also do. If you are in the position to hire a buyer's agent, this means you're going to pay for their services. And so you have to also know what the value proposition are or is. The agent has to be able to convince you that they're going to look out for your best interest. There are a lot of agents that do not do that. They just get the deal, or they want to just send you a bunch of emails. You see what house you want. Okay, I'm going to show you. Sometimes if they have other people working with, they don't even take the liberty to meet you. They send you over there. You like the house? Okay, well, I'm going to write it's not going to work that way anymore. If you're hiring a buyer's agent, you want to make sure that they're telling you why they should be chosen to represent you, or they should be hired to represent you. So as buyers, this is how you can look out. You can look out for, reviews of these agents. You can just kind of, when you talk to people, you know what they're about. In the beginning of a transaction, you already know what it's gonna be. You know if a person is professional or not professional. So I think buyers have to now put their foot down and make sure they're getting the best services whatsoever. And sellers, this means that if a seller decides they're not going to pay a corporate agent, then the listing agent has to figure out a way to get to people out there that are interested in buying a house. And I know listings are always, I don't want to say easy, but they are less stressful than, but now if a seller decides, well, I'm not going to pay the corporate agent, you're going to go out there and find somebody, and the listing agent has to also put in a lot of work to find buyers, and the property might not reach as many people as it would to get it sold fast enough. So sellers who decide they're not going to pick up brokers might see a little bit of a delay in their property getting sold because it's not getting in front of a lot of people because they don't want to pay nothing to the corporate buyer. Because if I have a buyer who is not in the position to pay their commission and they want to tour homes, I don't know how I'm going to tour homes with them if I'm not gonna get paid. Nobody works for free out here. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be exceptions. Sometimes you want to help people, just help by helping them. That's there, but in a nutshell, people work to get paid. So nobody's gonna be driving around if, a buyer says they're not, they're not in the position to pay. So now sellers will see their properties sitting on the market for a longer period of time. So in a nutshell, it's just, a little, how should I put it, things becoming more transparent, and people deciding, well, I don't want to pay this much, this person has to pay that, and now that's what it's going to be. And now the buyer's agents also have to make sure that they're letting their buyers sign the buyer's brokerage agreement. I've always had my buyers sign that agreement. I've always worked like the buyer was paying me anyway. Because if I'm representing you, regardless of whether the seller is paying or whatnot, I'm just doing my job, making sure that I am fulfilling my fiduciary duties to you. And that's just how it works. So for me, it's not really going to change that much because I am already working in that capacity. But for agents that weren't, I know agents that said, oh, I don't want them to sign it. I'm going to let them sign it last minute. And most often their clients get stolen by other agents, because if a buyer doesn't have an agreement with you, they have the liberty to work with any agent that they want. And so, yeah, that's just what it means. I will keep you updated if anything else comes up, but it's not really, it's not new to me. It's not new. The only thing is right now, conversations have to be different. Buyers have to understand what they're responsible for, what they have to pay, and buyer's agent have to up their game and get the job done right and make sure they're representing their buyers right. If you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me, but I will keep updating you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.